the time of spiritual reflection and worship. A time of patience, humility, self-discipline, and submissiveness to God. During the holy month, Radio Sultanate of Oman 90.4 FM takes you on a journey from spiritual reflection and enlightenment to family entertainment. Join us all day and all night long here on the Nation Station. Life is a journey, and through this journey we come across all challenges. These challenges makes us better human beings. We live for the pleasure of serving others and feeling the guidance of the Creator. Join us and explore the opportunities to overcome your difficulties this Ramadan here on the Nation Station.
You lift me up high, you spread my wings and fly me to the sky. I feel so alive, it's like my soul thrives in your light. But how I wish you'd be here with me all year around. Ramadan, 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 ya Habib.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. All praise be to Allah, the Lord of the heavens and the earth, and peace and blessings be upon our beloved messenger. Dear brothers and sisters, welcome to your show, Life as It Is. I salute you with the salutation of the people of paradise. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
From me, your brother Hatim Al Abdilsalam, and my dear brother Ahmed Al Matani. Assalamu alaikum, Ahmed.
Wa alaikum salam, brother.
How are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Alhamdulillah, it's an honor to have you 2 days in a row.
Yeah, the honor is mine.
I'm getting used to you now.
I know.
And I'm going to miss you after Ramadan.
I'm going to miss you too.
Well, we have another 2 days to go before the Eid holidays, and we just wanted to remind you that tomorrow's episode is going to be with Sister Maya Al Saeed, which is going to be in the topic of early marriage.
Correct.
So for all the singles out there, including you, Ahmed, we're going to talk about early marriage. And then the last day, which is day after tomorrow, we're going to talk about Eid fever. So please tune in these 2 episodes, and I hope inshallah you're going to enjoy.
I know people are very busy these days, but
in the markets,
they will never get disappointed, by listening to us, I'm sure.
Well, the good thing about it is that you can find all our recordings on our Facebook page, Life as It Is. So even if you miss the episodes, you can go back and find the episode. Every single day we try our level best to upload on the same day. For our listeners who would like to join in and say something or contribute to the program, they can call us on 24602058, 24602058. And today we have a special topic again. And this topic is called The Mask We Wear.
Yes.
What a weird name, Ahmed. Who chose this name?
Well, I guess somebody special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what are we talking about today, Ahmed? What is this mask we talking about?
Well, the whole idea came when we sat together and started talking about, finding topics which are very interesting and so on. And we thought maybe we should target, like some of the phenomena that we have here in Oman or in our community. And so we've noticed that, people tend to change, or I would say wear different masks, according to the situations and so on. So we thought, maybe we should talk about it and discuss it, and we should involve, our audience, in this discussion and see what they think about, this topic.
Yes. So, Ahmed, to start off, are we wearing a mask actually?
Well, this is a very difficult question, actually. Unfortunately, we do. Okay? And according to a lot of studies, they were saying that a lot of people, if not all people, wear masks, okay, at different stages of their lives, okay, depending on the situations, depending on the circumstances. So I would say everybody wears a mask, maybe temporarily. Sometimes, some people, might wear it, for quite a long time, okay? But at the end of the day, they do wear a mask. And of course, it depends on the function of that mask.
So are we talking about an actual physical mask, or are we talking about something else?
No.
It's the picture is still not clear.
It's a very metaphor, it's a metaphor, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're not talking about a physical, something that you can touch, No, we're talking about a mask that we wear in order to show a certain behavior for a certain situation.
The reason I'm asking you, is it a physical mask? Is in terms of appearance?
It could involve that. When we wear that mask, it could require certain appearance.
Yes.
So there is a kind of relationship between the two. But here we're talking about ideology. We're talking about, behaviors. We talk about, the way people act, the way people behave.
Yeah.
So this is, what we're trying to focus on today.
Ahmed, what makes us wear this mask? What makes us hide the reality about ourselves?
Well, there are so many reasons, actually. Sometimes fear, like if you're afraid, okay, to face reality, so you will tend to wear a mask.
Okay, the fear, it can be also the fear from community, fear of your shortfalls and other types of fear?
Exactly. Like when you don't want to show, okay.
Or fear of having someone like Ali Al-Far'i around you wearing a mask right now?
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's why we stopped a little bit, So anyway, some people are afraid, so that they might be rejected by the society. The idea of being accepted by the people around you.
Yes.
Because maybe you act differently, or you deal with people in a certain way. So in order to join that group or a particular group, you need to wear that mask, which does not represent the reality or who you are in real life. So you want to be accepted. You don't like people to reject you.
You don't want people look down to you.
Exactly.
Down on you.
Yes. So you will just say, you know what? I think I have to look like certain people. I have to wear this mask in order to join the club or the crowd. Another reasons I would say that sometimes, when you get hurt, okay, you want to show the people that you are not hurt. You want to show that, you're the man. You have
you're okay.
You're okay. You have a complete control over the situation.
So when you said you're the man, do you mean that this is specifically only for men or even for females?
It could happen to ladies, but it's very common among a lot of men.
Because of the ego.
Because of the ego and because of the society also. Like we are, as men, not encouraged to show our feelings, okay, especially when we are hurt, when we are sad, when we are not angry actually, but when we are sad, we're not it's not acceptable in the society to show your feelings, okay,
we put on the macho mask.
Exactly. So that we tell people, you know what, man, I don't have any problem, but in reality you have a problem.
Yeah.
So I guess this is also another mask we tend to wear. Also, sometimes when you have a low self-esteem, okay, when you're angry, there are so many reasons why people tend to wear this mask. Sometimes, you want to be, part of the new trend, okay, being cool, being, part of a group. And sometimes, we tend to wear a mask because of the pressure that we might have from the society. I'll give you an example. Let's say, like a guy from Oman will be traveling to a Western country.
Yes.
Okay. He's afraid to show the real of him. Okay, or the real him. And so he will try to wear a mask in order to show people that he's cool. And that mask, even could make him do things which are against, his teachings. Like drinking, having a girlfriend, doing a lot of things, fornication, in order just to be part of that group. Okay, so we just feel that there's a kind of a pressure from the society to make these people wear that mask. And when they go back home, they don't wear that mask. Because
I think one of the examples that I go through many times when I travel is that when I decide to eat with my hands and not use a spoon.
Yeah.
And the people who are with me, they always look at me in a different way, and they even, some of them talk to me and say, it's insulting, it's embarrassing, don't do it in public.
Yeah.
And I said, if we go, for example, to Japan or China, they eat with chopsticks, and when they travel abroad, they still eat with chopsticks.
They bring them with them.
They bring them with them.
Yeah.
And they're not ashamed of who they are.
Correct.
So why should we be ashamed of who we are? And why should we be ashamed of, or apologetic
Yes.
for our culture, or for the reality that this is how
that
we are?
Yeah, forgetting that we are ambassadors, actually, of our own religion and culture and so on.
And the funny part, Ahmed, is that you don't get these comments from people of different cultures.
Exactly.
You get these comments from people from your culture.
Yes.
People who understand that this is part of our culture.
Yeah, they think that, this is not the right place to do it. You know, you have to wear a different mask in order to show people that you are more, between brackets, civilized, by acting in a certain way. There's nothing wrong in adopting, a different etiquette.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that also there's nothing wrong with the etiquette that we're following.
Even in traveling, Ahmed, if you are traveling and you wear a dish dasher, for example, people will just think that, how uncivilized are you? You're going to the West and you're wearing a dish dasher.
Yeah.
Well,
I would just not wear
wrong.
it only for security purposes, because you might find some people who might not, tolerant, and who might, have a problem with the way you dress. So they might attack you, they might say words, they might call you names and so on. For that reason, I would consider wearing, like a Western attire, just for that reason, but not to degrade, my culture.
But the point is, there's nothing wrong in wearing it.
No, there's nothing wrong, especially if the people there accepting, the idea that you could wear whatever you want, then it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, dear listeners who have just joined us, today we're talking about the mask we wear, and with me, Hatim Al Abdilsalam, and my brother Ahmed Al Matani, and the number to call is 24602058, 24602058. Now, Ahmed, Allah has... Are you done with the
do you want to talk a little bit,
masks?
I think we should talk a little bit more about, more masks that, people tend to wear.
Okay.
There's a kind of mask called, avoidance, mask. When you try to avoid, the pain, and so you use that kind of, mask.
Give us an example. About this mask.
For example, let's say you want to avoid doing something, and which is not acceptable. Or you're not fully convinced that you should do. So you will wear that mask for that particular situation, and then you're going to leave it. So you avoid the trouble.
Yes.
So they call it, avoidance mask. There's another mask called, functional mask, for the idea of function. And this is very common, when people try to do it at work. Let's say somebody gets fired. When that person gets fired, he will try to act cool. There's nothing wrong and everything is fine, so they use that mask in order for a specific function, in order to hide the reality that, they are facing, especially at work. As I said, if you get fired, for example, may God forbid, but, you just go around and people try to say, you get fired? And then you say, so what? I'm fine, I can...
There's nothing wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with that. So you will just act, normally. So you're wearing that kind of mask. But in reality, from inside, you're just thinking, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Maybe, your wife will not let you in, you will not be able to, support your
Pay
family.
the bills.
So, yeah. And there's another mask, which is very common, especially, I would say, around the world. But maybe here, we see it a lot, which is people pleaser mask.
How do you say that in Arabic?
Well, how do you say that?
التملق.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, we try to make to impress everybody. Okay.
I think there's a distinction between two.
Yes.
There are certain types of people who wants to please everybody.
Correct.
Yeah, for no benefit in return.
Yes.
And there's a specific type
Yeah.
that is really targeting a benefit.
Yeah.
That's why they put on this special mask.
Yeah. And
So maybe if you distinguish between the two.
yeah, and also maybe I would add one more.
Mm.
Okay, some people, they just want to avoid, the trouble. So they want to make everybody happy. Okay, so they please everybody. So like if the one that you mentioned at the beginning, which is we just do it because we have to do it, and that shows we have a weak personality.
Mm.
Because I'm not benefiting from that. Who's benefiting, in this scenario?
Everyone else.
Everyone else except me.
Mm.
Because, we know that you cannot please everybody.
Yes.
Okay, if you try to please everybody at every time, you will end up not pleasing anybody at any time. As simple as that. So this is one. The other one, they try to please people in order to get, something out of that. And this is very common, especially when it comes to
Promotions,
relationships, okay, promotions, like you go and talk to your boss. You're the best boss ever, I met in my life. I don't know how this organization will function without you. And you go every day, you do all this, rituals
and
of
you
praise.
can sense it, yeah. For example, if you go and greet this person,
Mm-hmm.
They might not even stand. They might not even look at you. They are busy in their computers and just shake your hand casually.
Yeah.
But if the boss comes in, so they automatically stand.
Yeah.
They walk him to the door. They shake with both hands.
Yeah.
And they say nice thing, and you see this big smile on the face.
And
So-
they might even talk badly about the boss after he leaves.
Yes, yes.
It's only that they want to get something out of this. So they wear that mask in order to make that person happy and pleased.
And I think that's the worst mask ever. Is
Yeah.
when you differentiate between people. You don't treat people equally.
Mhm.
You don't give people their respect. You just choose a segment of people
Mhm.
to treat them the way you want because of material gain or any other gain.
Yeah, interest.
And you totally ignore the rest of the people.
Exactly. I mean, it's really sad, but we see it in our life. A lot of people do it in order to get, whatever they want. This is also very common when it comes to relationships, especially when we talk about not serious relationships. Okay, when somebody would just want to have a kind of, romantic relationship with somebody.
Yes.
For the sake of, having fun and enjoying yourself and so on. And you see, because nowadays, you find a lot of people just want to have fun. So they will go and say, I have a girlfriend. They want to go and brag about it, in front of their friends and say, you know what, did you see my friend or my girlfriend? She was with me, I have her phone number, I have her pictures and so on.
Yes.
But in reality, they don't have any feelings for that person. Just only to get whatever. So they start saying good things about that person or about that lady, and in reality they don't mean it. Okay, so they wear a certain mask in order to get what they want.
Mm.
And the other mask, which are very common also, we have the mask of anger. This is a strategy used by some people. If you don't want to talk to people, you don't want anybody to interact with you, you become always, angry. So people will avoid, talking to you. Yeah? So you show them that, kind of gloomy face all the time. Seriousness, okay. I wouldn't even use the word seriousness, but, that kind of, really scary, macabre, face, okay, all the time. And people would say, you know what, we don't want to deal with that person. But it does not mean that he's a bad person. Or he's a very angry person. But some people, they just don't want to interact with other people.
Yeah.
They want to live their own peaceful life, without any kind of interaction. And the last one is, happy, mask, which means, just you pretend to be happy all the time.
Ahmed, can someone have more than one mask in his life?
Definitely.
So whenever he goes to a certain group, he wears another mask, and then to the next group, he has another mask. At home, he has another mask. At work, he has another mask.
This is very common. I'll tell you, you find a lot of parents, let's say husbands, who are really good, in the way they talk to their colleagues at work. They're very nice, they're angels, okay?
Very
But-
diplomatic,
and
very
diplomatic,
soft.
yeah, very soft. They use the best phrases ever, with their female colleagues and with everybody, I would say. Okay, and when they go home, they don't even say hi.
They're like a general.
Yes, so do this, do that. They will never talk to the people in the house. The same way they talk to their family members.
So this is the double standards.
Double standards, okay? And of course, depending on your interest and what kind of gains, you will have, from that kind of interaction. You will use, different faces or different masks in order to gain, certain things. With you, for example, if I'm gaining, something, I'll try to use this kind of mask. If I don't like somebody, I'll use, maybe the anger mask.
So, what mask have you been trying on me lately?
No, no.
You don't have any mask?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I really like you. We don't have a problem. and since Reem and Ali spoke yesterday about love, maybe I should say I love you. For the sake of
I
Allah.
love you too, man.
Yeah.
I love you too.
Yeah.
Okay, Ahmed, there is a very thin line between hypocrisy and the fear of revealing the truth. Yeah, so because we don't want to jump into conclusion and call people hypocrites.
Correct.
Yeah, but there is this thin line between the two. Sometimes I just have this fear, as you mentioned in the beginning, that this fear is overcoming my personality.
Yeah.
And without wearing this mask, I feel that I cannot survive. But then on the other hand, you have people who intentionally wear this mask. Yeah, they reveal something else, and inside them they have this totally different. And a classical example of that is the people who have envy, which is very common.
Yeah.
You would see him smiling, you would see him being your pal,
Yeah.
and the moment you turn your back on him, you have this very huge, big knife on your back.
Yeah, this is a problem actually. We have it here in the society, and I think before that, before the idea of hypocrisy, because hypocrisy is a disease actually. Like when you have two faces, okay, and the problem with that it's always connected with the idea of faith, okay, and it's because we know that hypocritic people are even lower in terms of ranking, okay, in the hellfire,
Yes.
than the believer and the unbelievers.
We'll
So,
come to back
yeah.
back to that point,
Yeah.
Ahmed, which is related.
Yeah,
But as you know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who created us.
correct.
And whatever shortfalls that we have is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He has given us this.
Yeah.
He has not given us a perfect personality. Each one of us has the shortfalls and can never be perfect.
Yes.
Yes. So, and He also gave us this particular blessing, which is a sitr,
Yes.
which comes from the root word of covering.
Covering. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cover. It's a divine cover that each one of us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, has granted, and it is not revealing our shortfalls to others.
Exactly.
So having this cover from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is more than enough, and we would not have to wear any mask because Allah has given us this cover.
Yeah. And what's the problem now? Sometimes people misunderstand this concept. And since we were talking about the idea of hypocrisy, okay, we have some people, unfortunately, in our society,
Yes.
where they try to tell people about their own sins, and they are very proudly talking about it. Okay, forgetting
about their sins.
Yeah, they're very proud. They say, look, I don't want to be act in a hypocritical way, so this is what I do. Okay, here outside, just I'm just showing it to the world. Okay, because I don't want to be hypocritic. But this is not the actual or the needed.
So he's removing all
Yeah.
the masks plus this cover that Allah has given him.
This reminds me with a very famous story that happened in the time of the Prophet Moses. Okay, the God stopped like rain from the people of Moses at that time, and so Prophet Moses decided to talk to Allah. Okay, and said, why you stopped rain from like falling into our area, And he said it's because of one person.
Yes.
He was doing a lot of terrible sins, and he was, publicly, showing, that sins, to the people.
Yes.
So if that person decides to come now, okay, and repents in front of all these people, because, they decided to do the rain prayer.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, if that person comes now and, said that, I repent and I will not do it again, then, I will just, start, the rain for you guys. And so the prophet Moses started talking to people. He gave, a short, sermon, and he asked the person to step, forward in order to, tell the people that he, the one who was doing this and this and that. So the guy, said, what? I cannot do this, in front of everybody now. I used to do it with certain people. Now I cannot go and, make a scandal, out of myself. So he decided to talk to Allah, So he said, "Oh Lord, okay, don't make me, in this kind of situation, do
not reveal my shortfalls.
my shortfalls in front of these people and so on. And I promise, I will repent." Okay. Then God accepted his repentance, and the people started having rains. Now, the Prophet Moses was surprised to know that, because he didn't know that, he was expecting, that
someone
person to come, and then, as a result, they will have the rain. Now, they have the rain, but they don't have the person who repented.
Yes.
So he went back and spoke to Allah, to God, and he said, "It's really weird, you just asked me to do this, and now, we have rain." And he said, "It's because of that person that I stopped, the rain, from you at the beginning. I'm giving you the rain back." So the Prophet Moses, was curious to know who was that person is. And then God says something very beautiful. He said, "I did not, reveal his secret when he was disobeying me. Now you want me now to reveal his, secret when he is back to me?" You see, so God, even when the time of people doing a lot of wrong things, Allah is giving them, a chance. How about, when we go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So this is also but now in our society, we have a lot of young people publicly, revealing their sins, their relationships, what they do outside, and trying to tell you that, we are not hypocritic.
The sad part is they do it with joy and pleasure.
Yeah.
Thinking that
pride.
I'm a man.
Yes.
I can do whatever I want, and this is my right.
Yeah.
And this is who I am.
Correct.
You have to accept me whether you like it or not.
Yes.
But actually, you're revealing your shortfalls to the people.
Yeah.
And one day, when you really need to conceal your shortfalls, Allah will reveal your shortfalls.
Exactly.
So do not swim in these deep waters. Do not bring wrath on yourself.
Yeah. It's really, if you allow me, I have a story, with a friend actually, and somebody I know, and so we went outside for a picnic, and it's time for prayer, and he was telling me, excuse me, he was telling me that I'm not going to pray. I said, "Why?" He said, "Because I don't pray. I don't want, to act, in front of you, acting and so on." I said, "Okay, you see, he just wanted,
arrogantly
and even proudly saying that, I don't pray, all the time. Okay, he thinks that it's okay, to do that.
Yeah.
You never know. You might have a chance, to repent, to go back. Why are you showing, your sins and shortfalls, to other people? I don't see, I don't understand why people do this, and it's becoming a very common phenomenon in our society, that people talk about their
sins,
sins and so on. Excuse me.
So I think it's time for a short break, Ahmed.
Yes.
Let us take the break, and then we continue the discussion after that.
Thank you.
Lulu BMW Dream Drive. This season, luxury awaits you at Lulu. Shop and win 6 BMW X5 35i and other fabulous prizes. With every purchase of 10 Rials, get a chance to win up to 6 BMW X5 35i and 30 Icon products like 48-inch LED TVs, top-load automatic washing machines, air coolers, halogen air fryers, tablets and lots more. Shop at Lulu today and stand to drive home your dream. Promotion valid till 5th August 2015. Lulu, where the world comes to shop.
Let us take you on a spiritual journey through our voice this Ramadan in Life as It Is. Explore opportunities and tranquility with the young voices of tomorrow on the Nation Station 90.4 FM from Saturday to Thursday, 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. Engineer Muhammad Farouk, Janab Al-Saida, Maya Al-Said, Ahmed Al-Matani, and Hatim Al Abdilsalam. Call us on 246-02058 or text us at 90406 to explore your potentials like never before. This Ramadan, here on the Nation Station.
You lift me up high, you spread my wings and fly me to the sky. I feel so alive, it's like my soul thrives in your light. But how I wish you'd be here.
Dear listeners, Assalamu alaikum. This is Hatim Al Abdilsalam with Ahmed Al Matani. And in your program, Life as It Is, today we're talking about the mask we wear. And for those who wish to call and contribute and join us, they can call us on 246-02058, 246-02058. Now, Ahmed, all of us are striving to reach that perfection. And we think that one day we're going to reach that perfection. While Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us with shortfalls.
Correct.
Yeah, we can never reach that level of perfection. And perfection, I think we should be striving towards the perfection in goodness.
Correct.
But in terms of our characters, in terms of our conduct, we will never please ourselves, we'll never please others. But the most important thing is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Correct.
So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always encourages us to elevate ourselves in rankings in His sight. So why do we still have this feeling inside us that we should always be perfect? We should speak the perfect way. We should look the perfect way. We should, have this big illusion that people, when they see us, they feel that we're perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people, tend to do that in order to impress other people, and and some people, they have this disease that they don't want to make mistakes. Okay, they think that they always have to be in a certain level of perfection, and they will not, they don't want to commit, problems. They don't want to seem to the world that they have weaknesses, and that makes them feel unhappy from inside. Okay. I think Ali and Reem also today spoke about the idea of peace.
Yes.
Peace with God and peace, with yourself and peace, with other people. So if you have that peace, inside you, okay, and you have also strong relationship with God, I don't think you'll have a problem with the idea of perfectionist. Because at the end of the day, we are not perfect. This is a fact. Okay, whether you like it, whether people like it or not, we are not perfect. We still have our problems. We have to work on them. And this is why, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, okay, every human, commits what? Mistakes. Or sins. But the best among those who make mistakes are those who repent. So, the idea of repentance, is there because God knows that we will always make mistakes.
Otherwise, Allah would never ordain the system of repentance.
And this is what also will show us, the idea that, we are not perfect, we have limitations, and we cannot go beyond that, okay? And we need something. We need that superpower, okay, that referred to from time to time. And I think, by going back to God from time to time, that will give you the chance to reflect on your life, on your actions, on your deeds, and so on. So I don't think that we have to, seek perfectionist, okay, because at the end of the day, we will always have a problem in our lives.
And Ahmed, we are who we are.
Correct.
That's how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us, with all the shortfalls that we have. So, if you have these shortfalls, instead of wearing the mask, why don't you become better?
Correct.
Because Allah gave us the opportunity and the ability to make choices. So, if you feel that you are lacking in one area, you can develop yourself. You can become better. You can train yourself. So, instead of, hiding behind that mask, you can become better. You can actually become who you wish to be.
Yes. But what's the problem? It's a strategy. Now, we're talking about the strategy.
Yes.
Some people will tend to go for a strategy that you were just talking about, how to improve, in a good way, without, harming other people, without, showing, the opposite of you.
Yes.
Okay? This is, one way. Other people opt, to go for the other option, which is what? Wearing a mask. Depending on their abilities, depending on the circumstances, the way they are brought up, the circumstances, around them. So it depends on the person, So I think people who tend to go for this, strategy, which is wearing mask, are those who have a problem in their hearts. Okay? They are not strong in faith. Okay, so they tend to go for this option, because at the end of the day, they always wanted to be looking good in the front of other people. So the goal, the intention is to satisfy people, or to make people around them, happy, or to achieve certain goals, which are most of the time for them. But for the other strategy, which is when you find that you have a problem, you have a drawback, okay, you will just go and reflect on it, and you try to find the best way to handle it. Not to wear a mask for a temporary time in order to get whatever you want for a specific time. You need something that could last, for quite a long time, and will affect not only you, but the people around you in a positive way.
Ahmed, there is a mask that we forgot to mention, and I really hate this type of mask.
Which
it's the hypothetical liars. You have this group of people that can never stop lying, whether they need it or they don't. It has become a disease.
Yeah.
It has become part of their lives. And I have a story to share, which is a true story that happened. And I know the person the individual in person. No one has told me the story. I have lived it. This person, he had this desire to be someone very important, special.
Yeah.
And he always eluded everyone around him that he knows. He was wearing this mask. And subhanallah, he eluded everyone to think that he also has earned a PhD.
Wow.
And he actually got a job, a very fancy job. His employers, they thought that, yes, they never questioned his authenticity.
Okay.
They didn't take his qualification, and they gave him the job. And after a few years, they found out that he had employed many consultants. Okay, so they were doing the job on his behalf. They were taking the decisions on his behalf. And one day,
and he was taking the whole credit.
Yeah, and we all respected him. We even called him Dr. So and so.
Yeah.
And one day, the state audit came in, and they said, we're going to review the whole structure of the organization, and we want to see each one of you their qualifications.
Okay.
And so they went to HR and they took a list of their qualifications, and they found that the head of this organization, there is no single qualification which is there in the personal file. So they gave him the benefit of the doubt and they said maybe it was lost.
Yeah.
So they contacted him and said, so and so, can you please provide us with a copy of your qualifications? And he said, yes, sure, you're going to get it soon. And 6 months passed. He doesn't return their calls. He's dodging them. And then one day they just popped in to his office and they said, we have called the university that you said you graduated from and they've never heard of you.
Wow.
And he had to resign immediately and he left Oman actually.
Wow.
But I mean, I know this person for more than 10 years and I just don't know how he was able to put on this mask for so long.
Yeah.
You know, eluding people. And some of them are very good.
Yeah.
They're extremely good at becoming hypothetical liars.
Yeah.
You know, the way you speak, the information you present, and people, you know, believe you.
Yeah. And, you know, I mean, this is also very common when it comes to relationships, actually, since, you know, you mentioned that. You know, like we have some either gents or ladies sometimes very good, you know, in terms of praising people in order to develop this kind of relationship. And so they will tell the girls, you know, a lot of beautiful things. But also we have another type of people where they will try to pretend, you know, some people who are not who they are.
Yes.
And I'll give you an example. You might be from a middle-class family, okay? And but, you know, you want to impress, you know, the girls around you, okay, by wearing, you know, very expensive clothes, you know, wearing, you know, very expensive colognes and so on, yeah? This is also wearing a mask because reality does not, you know, actually tell the people that you are a rich guy.
And actually you can't afford it.
You cannot afford it.
You might be taking a loan or something just to wear that mask.
I remember one guy used to do the same thing. He would go around to take some money from people in order to go around looking really good. Okay, so wearing, you know, a different mask. And you know, like, why you have to do this? Also, I've noticed that, you know, people are coming from the countryside. Okay, sometimes they, you know, they wear the traditional attire, clothes, and so on. So when they come to the capital area, they completely change. Okay, because they want to look cool. Okay, or they want to look, you know, more modern and so on. So they will go and buy stuff, okay, and they will keep them where? In Muscat. Okay, and when they go back to their villages,
they go back to their old clothes.
Exactly. And so they want to just impress the people here. And in fact, you know, it's not impressing. In my opinion, they are weak. If you cannot carry your own culture and customs, you know, to the world, especially if there's nothing wrong with them, then you have a problem. I'm not saying that you should not adopt, you know, different cultures and so on. But at the same time, you need to ask yourself a very simple question. What's wrong with the way I am now? Do I have a problem or not? Maybe you don't have a problem. So why do you have to change?
When I was in college, I had a friend when we were abroad. And he used to wear earrings and a chain. So it used to bother me. And I used to ask him, why do you do this? And he said, I have to blend in. And I asked him, but actually, do you love doing it? You actually, you got your ears pierced just to wear the earrings. Yeah. It's painful. And you wouldn't wear like this back home. So why are you doing it? He said, I'm trying to blend in. But I said, there are many ways to blend in. You don't have to go out of your way to imitate someone else so that you blend in. And it's very common.
Yeah, it's very common, unfortunately. And this reminds me also with a friend, you know, when we went to the States, he was pursing, you know, like, you know, pursing, you know, in different, you know, locations
and
of
the nose,
and the nose, you know,
eyebrows,
like name it, you know, like in even very sensitive areas. But you know, I was shocked, you know, because first of all, the guy is from a very, you know, like conservative, you know, family and so on. And you know, when I asked him, why do you have doing this? And he was saying, it's just because I want to look, first of all, I don't want people to think that, you know, I'm reactionary or you know, like old fashioned. Okay, this is the trend and I have to blend in, you know, like easily. And, also I don't want them to think that I'm a terrorist, I just want to act, like I'm really good, and I'm welcoming, their culture. And I want them to accept me. I don't want them to reject me. And I said, you don't need to do that, The more you respect your culture and your religion,
the more they
will respect you. And I gave him an example. Okay, do you have a call?
No.
So I have an example I shared, maybe before. When I was in the States, it was before Ramadan, okay? And I didn't have to wear any mask, in order to impress my teachers and so on. So what I had to do is email them that, I'm going to fast, and I have to break my fast during this time.
Which was the time of the lectures.
Yes. And they said, no problem. They responded to me. So the first day when I left the room, I saw like 2 or 3 people leaving after me. I didn't say anything. Then the next day, I saw a lot of people leaving after me. And then I said, what's going on, why everybody leaves when I leave? And I stopped, with the guy, and I started talking to him. And I said, why everybody leaves when I leave? He said, we all agreed that we will stop the class and we'll have the break when you go for your breaking of your fasting.
Subhanallah.
And I was moved actually with the gesture, because they didn't have to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. They said we felt that you always participate in the class, and we don't want you to miss anything, in the discussion and whatever the teacher was discussing. So they didn't have to do it, but because I respected my culture and my religion, my teachings, they just do respect the my culture, because I respected my culture. So this is also an invitation or a call for people who are traveling outside. You don't need to change. You don't need to wear a mask. Okay?
It's actually a big illusion, Ahmed. We think that people
we
will
need to
judge
change
us,
it.
people will
No.
treat us
You
differently.
might find some people who are crazy. I'm not saying that you will not find some people who might be fanatic or racist and so on. You will always find these people.
You find them even here.
Yes, here in Oman. So, it will always be the case. But at the same time, the majority will not treat you this way. And this is a real example that I've just shared with you. And I'm sure that a lot of people can share a lot of these examples, when they go to the West or to other countries. So I don't think that, and don't forget the fact that when you travel outside, you are an ambassador for your culture, for your country, for your religion.
You represent everything that you believe in.
You'll meet people who have no clue about Oman, and if you act, the way they act, I'm not saying that, the way they act is wrong, but at the same, they will not have a chance to know about your country. Okay, when the government spends that much money on you, you also have a responsibility
towards your country.
Towards country, and by showing the real culture, the real religion, and you not know, you might get somebody
especially in today's world, Ahmed, where our culture, our religion is being bombarded throughout the world with with the stigma, with the fear, with terrorism and all these things. I think we need to be ourselves.
Yes.
We don't need to wear that mask.
Yeah.
And people will respect us the way we are. Once I went on a business trip, and my colleague asked me, so Hatim, we're going to the Netherlands. What are you going to wear? And I said, I'm going to wear what I'm wearing every single day, Dasha and my turban. I said, oh my God, we're in trouble. I'm not going to sit next to you on the plane, and I'm not going to say that I know you. And I said, okay, fine, I respect your choice, but this is who I am, and this is who that's how I wish to travel. So we'll meet up, inshallah, in our destination.
Yeah.
And then when we arrived at the airport in Amsterdam, I finished. I took my luggage, and I was outside, and I had to wait for him, because he was going through a severe interrogation and security checks, and they were about also to strip him, So and then when he came out, I said, I have an extra dishdasha if you want, and he just looked at me and said, oh man.
You see, I mean, that's a misconception that a lot of youth, think that they have, and they believe that they have to change in order to please other people. And I'm not against the idea of a change, okay? If the change is good and can bring, goodness to your life, then it's okay. But when the change is done only to please other people,
it's part of being inferior.
yes, and forgetting about, your own teachings, okay, in order to please people, and forgetting, that, you have also, God, or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to please as well. So which side would you value more? Pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or pleasing people? Okay, that's the question that we have to ask. I mean, if we put, people, okay, before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then we'll have always, all these calamities and problems and so on and challenges in our lives.
And I see it a doubt in our faith, Ahmed.
Yes.
Because we have to be very strong in our beliefs.
Correct.
If we believe that this is the right path and this is what I chose for myself, then you have to act on it.
Yeah.
Don't have these double standards that no, okay, in Oman I'll have this strong faith and I believe in my religion and my culture, and once I leave the lands of Oman, then I'm a total different person.
Different person, yeah. And I think we need also to talk about the involvement in of the society in this kind of mask wearing process. Sometimes the society or even the family, let's start talking about the family. Yes. Family, if the family doesn't do the right job in terms of bringing up, the kids the right way, by telling them, who they are, and they will tell them why they are this way, why they're acting in this way, okay? I don't think that we'll have, problem with these kids. I think a lot of youth nowadays face of or struggle with something called confusion in identity. They don't know who they are because we don't talk about it at home. We don't discuss it at home. So, and whenever we have a situation which is different from what we do at home, we said, you know what, I think I should wear this mask in order to save my face. Yes. Okay? So the role of the family is very important. The role of a school also. We need to talk about our values. We need to talk about why we acted this way, why we need to, look, we used to have this, in our curriculum in the past. You remember, Hatim?
Yes.
There was one whole section about, ethics and, principles and so on. And they would share, a lot of very interesting stories, okay, about, how people behave in a certain situation and we need to do this and this. Now we don't have it, anymore. But I think, there's, as we said before, there's a kind of change now that because people now see what we are getting out of, taking these kind of chapters, from the Islamic teachings, in our curriculum. But anyway, what I'm saying is that family, okay, schools, okay, colleges, have to emphasize, the role of the identity, who we are. And we have to be proud, of who we are. As first of all, as Muslims, as Omanis, okay, as maybe, like human beings at the end of the day. Yeah. Okay, we need to talk about these values and these values, define who we are. Okay, and if we don't talk about them and we don't emphasize them every day in our daily life, we will lose them. And definitely we'll have a generation of masks.
And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, Ahmed, we have made you into nations and tribes so that you would know and recognize one another.
Yeah.
So the variety is already there. Allah has created us differently.
Yeah.
You can't expect that we'll all look the same and we'll all talk the same way and we'll all, behave the same way.
Yeah.
So you need to just to be yourself.
Exactly. And this brings us to the idea of the appearance and the behavior. Sometimes, because of a certain behavior, okay, will lead us to look in a certain way.
Yes.
Okay. And I think, you covered this, but there's no harm in talking a little bit about it, like if we, sometimes, because we want to act cool, okay, we'll tend to look, in a different, way or in a certain way. Like, for example, now we have people who look, the emos, we have, people wearing necklaces around there, they're wearing, these kind of jeans, what they call them, stretched or and
you have guys with very long hair.
Yeah.
And from the back, you can't make out whether there's a guy or it's a girl.
And, there's so many appearances reflected on the behavior, because you want to be a certain person or from a different culture, that will be reflected on the way you look. So there is a kind of correlation between the appearance and the behavior.
The strange thing is that this segment of people who try and imitate other cultures in a bad way, they are surprised of the people who are preserved. Why do they look at them in this way? Yeah, and they feel that these people are not modern.
Yeah.
They're not civilized, and they will never change.
Yeah.
But actually, they have to reconsider.
Yes.
And think about it. Because one day they are going to be grown-ups, they're going to be adults, they're going to have kids.
Yeah.
And their kids are going to imitate someone else, and they're not going to be happy about it.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's really something that we have to talk about, and I salute you for having this program and, the other programs, to talk about these issues so that we can educate people about it. And this is a platform, for people to discuss and interact and have a dialogue, to come up with some solutions for these problems.
I remember one day I met a young man who was wearing really weird clothes, and he had all these colors on his hair, and he had a necklace and he had an earring, and he was very weird. So I went and I talked to him, and I said, do you like what you wear? And he said, yeah, this is who I am, and this is how I feel comfortable.
Okay.
And I said, okay, when you go, for example, if you're invited to go and have dinner with a minister, would you be wearing like this? He said, of course not. And I asked him, what would you be wearing? He said, a dishdasha and a musar. I said, okay, today, for example, you fell in love with a girl and you wanted to go and propose. And when you go with your family, would you be wearing like this when you go and propose to the girl? And he said, no, of course not. And I said, why? And he said, I don't want that family to take, a bad impression about me. And I said, what makes you think that they will take a bad impression about you as long as you're a good guy?
Yeah.
And he said, no, because sometimes, they judge you by the looks. And then I said, okay, now what makes you sure that people around you now are not judging you with the way you look? And I said, I've never thought of it that way. I just thought that I'm a young man and this makes me happy, so I would do it. And I said, look, this life is not just about you. It's about everyone around you. Yeah, I don't claim that you can impress everyone and you can please everyone. But at least you should maintain that minimum level of acceptance of the community. Yeah. The moment you feel that the people around you are not comfortable with the way you look, then there's something wrong. Yeah, it's not normal.
Yeah. And
these limitations of freedom.
Yeah.
You might feel that this is what I like to do and this is my own personal freedom. But don't forget that you are living in the middle of a community which is a preserved community.
Yeah, but at the same time, I totally agree with you. But, there should be a lot of emphasis on, why it is a good practice. Why this is, like what we're supposed to do is better than, what you're doing. Okay? Because at the end of the day, if you try to satisfy only the society, society sometimes might have, let's say traditions which contradict, with the Islamic teachings.
Yes.
I don't want to generalize, but, there could be, some kind of items that we need to change. But at the same time, I totally agree that, you should also understand, where you're coming from and the society around you and so on. But they have to really believe that what they're doing is derived from the Islamic teachings, and this is part of the culture.
The thing, Ahmed, is with young people, you have to take it gradually, step by step.
Yes.
Yeah. The moment you open your mouth and say about religion, they scatter away and they shut down.
Yeah.
They don't want to listen to you.
You
So
know
you
why?
have-
But
you have-
that's we have also to say at the same time, Hatim, that maybe the way we convey the message to these young
Yes.
people is not the right way. You cannot preach the same way it used to be done, in the past. There's no way. You need to go to their mentalities, to their own communities and so on, and mentalities in order to come up with a very creative way.
Yes.
Okay, we continue doing the same kind of practice or tool in order to preach them. I mean, if I were them, I might have the same kind of reaction. Okay, because if you don't understand how I think and how I behave, okay, you might not get into my heart, into my mind. Okay, because you need to really get to their hearts and their minds from the beginning, and then you can go to the next stage, of preaching and so on.
Okay, I think it's time for a break. Before we go for the break, we'd like to remind our listeners that our numbers to call is 24602058, 24602058, and let us go for a short break.
Want to win a car with all the features you ever wanted? The Geely M Grand 7 with a 1.8-litre automatic engine can be yours. Just WhatsApp your name, location, and say that one thing you like the most about Geely, and you could become the lucky winner to own one. Send us your reply on WhatsApp at 9440 today. Anyone could win a Geely M Grand 7 this Ramadan. Terms and conditions apply.
Lulu BMW Dream Drive. This season, luxury awaits you at Lulu. Shop and win 6 BMW X5 35i and other fabulous prizes. With every purchase of 10 Rials, get a chance to win up to 6 BMW X5 35i and 30 Icon products like 48-inch LED TVs, top-load automatic washing machines, air coolers, halogen air fryers, tablets and lots more. Shop at Lulu today and stand to drive home your dream. Promotion valid till 5th August 2015. Lulu, where the world comes to shop.
Fly Emirates to 17 destinations across the Far East and as many as 38 European destinations in our ever-expanding network. Be there for some truly inspiring experiences. To find out more, visit emirates.com/om. Fly Emirates. Hello tomorrow.
Let us take you on a spiritual journey through our voice this Ramadan in Life as It Is. Explore opportunities and tranquility with the young voices of tomorrow on the Nation Station 90.4 FM from Saturday to Thursday, 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. Engineer Muhammad Farouk, Janab Al-Saida, Maya Al-Said, Ahmed Al-Matani, and Hatim Al Abdilsalam. Call us on 246-02058 or text us at 90406 to explore your potentials like never before. This Ramadan, here on the Nation Station.
You lift me up high, you spread my wings and fly me to the sky. I feel so alive, it's like my soul thrives in your light. But how I wish you'd be.
Dear listeners, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to your program Life as It Is from me, Hatim Al Abdilsalam, and my brother Ahmed Al Matani. Today we were talking about the masks we wear, and we went through many points regarding these masks. And now, Ahmed, can you tell us what is the effect of wearing these masks?
There are so many effects actually on the individual who tends to wear these masks actually. One of them is you will not have the sense of belongingness, okay? Because people, in order to feel that you belong to them, they need to know who you are. Yeah, but if that person wears different kind of mask, okay, what's gonna happen? You don't know that person.
Yes.
Okay, because today he's like this, tomorrow he's like that. So you might lose that kind of connection with people. This is the first effect. Another effect that you might have is you might also have the problem of identifying who you are. You might not be able to know who you are anymore, any longer. Because every day, you wear a different mask, tomorrow you wear another mask, maybe within like one day you might wear, like different types of masks. So you cannot, really know who you are.
Ahmed, regarding the first point that you mentioned, that the sense of belonging.
Yeah.
I had some Chinese friends.
Mm-hmm.
And one day I was sitting with them, and one of their colleagues, he passed by, and they said, "Oh, here comes Banana Man." So I asked him, what's Banana Man? He said, Banana Man is a label that we give to the people who are Chinese. From the outside, they look like Chinese, but they lived in the West, and they're westernized. So they're white from the inside, but yellow from the outside. So we tend to label them, and we segregate them, and we don't really get along with them.
Exactly.
Because they have moved away from that identity.
We also use sort of a similar term, the city boy, like when you go home, like, so, oh, look, this is the city boy,
I
coming back.
just hope in Oman we don't have date boy or something. Or hello boy.
Hello boy. And hello is more traditional. We have to think about, more modern.
But pretty sure we're going to have sure boys.
Yeah, for sure. But you see that's, one thing that we will, the person will not have that sense of belongingness, to a certain group or the group that he belongs to. And the other thing that we were talking about, you might not be able to know the real you. Okay, because every day, according to the situation, according to the people that you want, according to your interest,
very soon you're going to lose your own identity.
Exactly. Yeah. This is like the story of the bird and
I don't know your stories, Ahmed. Please don't make me remember your stories. I don't know them.
Okay, I mean the story of a bird who was trying to learn the walk of another animal, and then like he tried to walk like the other animal, like a cat or something. And then when he tried to go back to his, like actual way of walking, he couldn't do that, So this could also be,
Where do you get these stories, man?
This is a very common story, We learned this back in school,
Okay.
A long time before you were born, I guess. Okay, and also, like another effect, this kind of wearing mask process also could create a lot of anxiety, in your life. Because you will always have to be ready to choose the right mask at the right time. Because if you make a mistake, you'll be in trouble. Mm-hmm. So you live, this kind of life full of stress, and anxiety, and you don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. So you'll always have to have, you have to be ready for wearing the right mask. So your life is not going to be stable. Okay, you'll be stressed. You will have this kind of an anxiety in your life, the way you talk, the way you act, the way and you don't know what is the reaction of these people from wearing that mask. So you said, okay, I'm gonna wear this mask, and I will see if it will work with this person. Okay, and then you wait for their response, and then if their response is not the way that you wanted to have, then you might be in trouble. So, what should I do now? I have to wear another mask in order to correct, what I have, made now. So, this kind of life is not a healthy life. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And also, sometimes when you wear a mask, that also will put you in a situation where you cannot make the right decisions, okay? Because it's connected to the same topic about being stressed and having a stressful life. So especially the decision will be made according to the situation, not according to what you usually do in life. So you have to be a very good planner. You have to think about what kind of a decision I have to make. So it's a kind of a stressful life that you should not have from the first place. And of course, you might lose friends because of that. You might also because if people discover that you're wearing a mask, for a specific time, okay, they might lose that kind of relationship with you. And we have heard a lot of stories, even among family members, okay, because of this process. So I think, it's not a good thing, to have this mask, worn in any aspects of your life, I would say.
Okay, Ahmed, some people walk under the shadow of other people.
Mm-hmm.
So they want to be that person.
Mm.
And that's why they're wearing this mask. Is it healthy to walk under someone else's shadow?
Definitely not. I mean, if we look at it, if that person is a role model that I want to follow, okay, then it's a different story.
Yes.
But if it is only blindly followed, then there is a problem. Okay? If you know what you're doing, for example, and you know that there's goodness, back to the idea of goodness, okay, in the way because sometimes we need to imitate. We need to copy the good ones. We need to copy, other people's, behaviors, actions, and so on, in order to improve. The idea of improve, not to deceive, because now when we wear the mask, we deceive people.
Yes.
That's a huge difference. But when we are trying to improve the status of our life, the way we behave, the way we act, the way we deal with people, then it's a different story. They're not the same thing, okay? When you deceive people, okay, in order to gain something, that's a temporary thing, and it will benefit you only, and it will harm other people, okay? But when you do it in order to what? To improve, and in order to improve yourself, improve the quality of life around you, people around you, then it should be fine. You should have role models in your life.
Ahmed, I don't know if you came across a situation where other people are trying to put a mask on your face. Yeah, once I remember I was having a meal at Nando's. And then this young man who I know, he came to me and he said, I never expected you to be in a place like this.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, I know, I got worried. And I said, why? What's wrong with this place? I don't see alcohol. I don't see pork. I don't think it's a nightclub.
Yeah.
And he said, no, but,
this is like a younger place.
Yeah, I don't feel that, I didn't expect that you're going to be here. And I said, where did you expect me to have my meals? In the middle of the desert? And I said, if for example, this place is forbidden for me to be here, you as a Muslim, you shouldn't be here as well.
Exactly. Why double standards?
Yeah, so people assume that they will put a mask on your face.
Yeah.
That certain criteria that you shouldn't be in a place.
Yeah, this is, I always get this. Like, for example, if I start speaking in English, people say, how come that you speak in English? You're not supposed to speak in English, because you wear a beard. You see, they're trying to put a mask on me, in order to show the people that, I should not wear a mask. Or, for example, because I come from the countryside, I'm not supposed to speak, English. You see, they, even...
But actually, do you speak Arabic?
I do speak Arabic.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, I'm from the countryside, I speak Arabic. Very good Arabic.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah. But anyway, I totally agree with the idea that sometimes people impose, certain masks, okay, on you because they have certain criteria to categorize you.
Yeah.
You're from this category, you're from that category, and so on.
Yes.
And they want to control your life. You cannot, you cannot have these people control your life. Just, ignore them, live your life, and forget about them. Because, at the end of the day, this is your life. You need to have a complete control over your life.
The next point, Ahmed, is Allah only knows the true you.
Correct.
So, forget about impressing others. Forget about being who you're not are. Just focus on that whatever you do, deep inside, only Allah knows the true you.
Yes.
So if you have this inside you, instilled inside you, then you will never wear a mask again.
Yes.
Because you would know that the only direction that I should be impressing is Allah.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes. Very true. And this is the problem, when we put, what comes first in our life, setting priorities in life, God or people. And then when we get to that, stage, where we said, God comes always first, then we'll not have a problem. But unfortunately, it's all about impressing, people around us. And what makes it even worse is that when people are trying to impress other people, on the expenses of their own lives. Okay, they might, even lose, their lives, and live a miserable life in order to make other people happy. I mean, what kind of life, you want to have, if you're going to just make everybody happy and forget about yourself.
The other thing that people tend to forget is that we are all the same as humans.
Correct.
We all have shortfalls. We all eat and sleep and go to work and have the same anxiety, the same desires. We are all the same.
Yes.
So we don't need to impress one another.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't need to go through that pressure trying to impress one another.
This is back to the idea of underestimating, like the context that you are in.
Yes.
And it could be a very bad, context. I'm not saying that it could not be. But sometimes if your context is good, but you have a belief inside you saying that I have a problem in my own context, and you try to move to another context or to another lifestyle, then you have a problem. Yeah.
Now, for those who are wearing that arrogant mask,
Yeah.
they look down on others.
Yes.
This is a very dangerous mask, and we just wanted to remind them that as a human being, how significant are you? Yeah, in relation to this universe, in relation to other creations, to the heavens, to the earth, to the planets, to the galaxies, even to the animals. Yeah, how significant are you? I mean, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills, He could send all these creations that are around us to destroy the human being.
Exactly.
Yeah? Today, for example, if you have flu, you might be spending 2-3 days on bed, just because of flu. You might even lose your life because of flu.
Yeah.
So you are insignificant.
Yeah.
Why should you wear this mask of arrogancy towards others?
This is a disease, we have to, also talk about. People look down at other people because they look different, differently, or they are not from the same culture. And I think we talked about this a little bit, last time when we were talking about identity crisis. When sometimes this could happen within the same group, Muslims, against, other Muslims, unfortunately. Because, you are from a different nationality, so I have to look down at you. And it's the disease, actually, that people have to get rid of, and as you said at the beginning, we are equal, especially in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What will determine, our future or our destiny at the end of the day is the good deeds that we are doing in this life, the way you act, the way you behave with people, your rituals, the things that you do for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I don't think that we should have this as a problem. And now, the idea of, humility. And I think, also...
Before you get to that, Ahmed, I just wanted to talk about the fact that we will all depart from here one day. Many people tend to forget this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they think that I still have a long way to go.
Yes.
But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has concealed the secret of when we are going to depart.
And we don't
know
that.
Reason.
Yes.
For a reason is to test us and to make sure that we are up to date.
Yes.
And from the day we're born until the day we die, we should always be prepared for that day that will come, that will depart from this world.
Correct.
So if we keep on changing these masks every single day, then we'll live this big illusion, and when the time comes when we need to leave, then it's going to be too late to be ourselves.
Yeah, and then you'll ask God, to give you another chance. There will not be another chance.
Okay. Now that we spoke about the negative part of it, now let us talk about the positive side of it and how to purify yourself.
Yeah, there are so many ways actually to do that. Actually, first of all, the idea of repentance. Okay, and people have to begin with repentance. Okay, this is like something that we have to do. Okay, because we all make mistakes, as we said, and it's normal. That you make mistakes, but what is expected from you when you make mistakes is to go back to Lord or to Allah
and repent.
Of course, you'll have to have strong faith, you know, in your teachings and your religions. And of course, you know, that before that, you know, a strong faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He decides on a lot of things, you know, in your lives, okay? And when you have that strong faith, okay, definitely you will not have a problem, you know, with that. And, you know, when we're talking about the idea of arrogance, you know, we need to talk also about the idea of, you know, humility, okay, and being humble, okay, because we have a say, actually. Some people say it's a hadith, but, you know, some people say it's only a say, okay. Whenever you are humble, the more the humble you are, okay, the more ranking you will have in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
من تواضع لله رفعه.
Yeah, so we need to really have this virtue or quality in our lives, because there's also a difference. We need to make also a clear distinction between a negative humility and a positive one, because sometimes, you know, you find people that say, oh, I don't know this, I don't know this, I don't know that, you know, and they don't show what they have.
They don't share also the
They
goodness.
don't share the goodness, you know, with that. We also need to get rid of that disease. I would call it a disease. We need to have the positive humility, the way we talk to each other, the way we respect each other, you know, that's, you know, what we need to have, you know, in our society. And of course, you know, like when it comes to respect, you know, this is also another thing that we lack, you know. We already talked about it a little bit, you know, when we talk about respecting people in general.
Respecting ourselves first, and respecting others.
Yeah, definitely you have to respect yourself. And this is why when you respect yourself, okay, people will respect you. And you don't need to wear all this mask. Unfortunately, a lot of people, they don't have respect for themselves. And this is why they are degrading, you know, the culture they come from, the religion they believe in. As a result, they will try to wear different mask. So you need to start, you know, first with respecting yourself, then, you know, respecting people around you. And this could be in different levels. You know, people who belong to the same group, you know, as Muslims, for example, will have to have, you know, a certain level of respect. And of course, you'll have to respect for everybody, regardless of his or her religion. Okay, and also, you know, people all the time think about this life. They don't think about, you know, the hereafter. Are you ready for the hereafter? That's a very important question we have to ask.
Yeah.
You know.
And do you want to gamble with the hereafter?
Yeah, I mean, there's no...
Those who say that there is no hereafter, what if 50%, okay, there is no hereafter?
Yeah.
What if the other 50% says...
Works.
There is.
Yeah,
it works. You go there and you find out that, oops, it's too late.
Yeah, it's too late. And there are a lot of verses in the Holy Quran where, you know, like stating that, you know, people will have this wish to go back to the life, okay, when they go to the hereafter and they discover that they are in hellfire, they wish to go back
to do good deeds.
To good deeds, you know, because he said, you know, we thought that this is not true. Now it's too late, you know, you cannot go back again, you know. So this is why, you know, are we ready for the hereafter? Okay, this is because now with the idea of materialistic, you know, world where blocks the idea of, you know, spirituality in our lives, we are really, you know, left behind a lot of spiritual things in our lives. And when we get to that stage, we just have to wear a different mask, and we'll try to just keep doing what we're doing, you know, in this you know, life, and forgetting that, you know, there's a hereafter and there is a punishment, you know, there is a reward and there is a punishment. If you don't do good deeds, you'll end up, you know, in the hellfire. And it's not a joke. You know, like nowadays, you know, we just, you know, we cannot bear, you know, the heat.
The heat.
You know, like people are dying in some parts of the world because of the heat. And people are just, you know, playing, you know, gambling, you know, with their future and the hereafter without realizing the importance of getting ready for the hereafter.
And the last point to purify yourself is accept what Allah has given you.
Correct. You know, I'm sure, you know, like, first of all, we have to come to a very clear conclusion, which is God is fair. Okay? Yeah, we see people, you know, with different, you know, portions in their lives, you know, like financially, psychologically, socially, name it, you know, in all aspects of lives, you know. You might be more than me in terms of finance, okay? but maybe, in terms of social life, I might be, more than you are. So there's this kind of, equal, distribution of this
bounties,
for everybody in this life, according to your personality, according to your nature, according to your faith. And we know that the more faith you have, the more test and trial you'll have in this life. According to the Islamic teaching.
Yes.
So that in order to show that people can be patient, and also they can take the struggle and so on in this life. And also if we have the time to talk about other things that you can have in our life in order to purify your soul or your heart, is the idea of being connected with God in terms of daily routine of remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Also the idea of also controlling your diet, because when you have a full stomach, sometimes that might block your spiritual life. I'm not saying that you should be hungry all the time, but what I'm saying is that especially during this time of the year, you always feel like the pain of people who struggle like on a daily basis. Okay, when we fast, this give you the chance to reflect. Okay, and I think in order to when you do a lot of controlling for your diet, that will give you a chance to connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this is what we should do.
Before we end today's talk, we just wanted to say that there are role models out there who were in this world in the past, like the Prophet ﷺ and his companions. All of them were great people.
Yes.
And they never wore masks.
Yes.
And they achieved every single goal that they had in life. And we should follow these footsteps, these examples of these great people. Like Sayyidina Umar, the second caliph.
Yeah.
He ruled the world at that time, the Islamic empire, from east to west. But he didn't have even enough clothes on him. He wore very old clothes, and he used to sew them whenever they tear. And then he would sew it again. He used to sleep under the tree. So he did not try and impress anyone.
Yes.
He was more than the emperors of Rome and Persia. But in humility, he was the best.
Exactly.
Yeah, he was being himself. And the Prophet, peace be upon him, was known to sleep on the ground out of humility. So we should not be wearing these masks and trying to impress other people. I think, Ahmed, we're running out of time for today. And I hope you all benefited and enjoyed today's talk, which is the mask we wear. We'd like to remind you of tomorrow's show with Sayyidah Maya Al Saeed, which is early marriage.
Yes.
Which is also a very, very important, interesting topic. And before we leave, also, we'd like to thank our studio engineer, Safi Al Habsi, for her dedication throughout the month of Ramadan in this program, in all other programs. And our Facebook page is Life As It Is. You'll find all the episodes there and all the discussions. So please join in. And I think that's it for today, Ahmed.
Yeah, thank you so much.
From me, Hatim Al Abdilsalam and Ahmed Matani. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Never think of change. Be the change. Thank you for being a part of this amazing journey. Life as it is.
Life as it is.
Here on the Nation Station, Radio Sultan of Oman, 90.4 FM.
Ramadhan.